Good morning, everyone. Oh, I'm sitting outside. It's so beautiful out here. We've had nice, mild days and cold, cold nights. I want to show you something. I'll tell you what, it's one of those things. And it's blooming so early again. But look how pretty. You guys see that? Oh, there's a little birdie. I don't know if you guys can see a little birdie right there. Oh, flew off. Our peach trees, dedicated to Him. One of them is, which is one of True Parents' sons who passed away. I think he was 14. One of those odd accidents. And there's a beautiful story that goes with that. Sometimes I think spirits show up here because they're lonely. Yeah, it's an odd one. Or belongingness, really, when it comes down to it. Just be remembered. Yes? Okay. And I had a dream, and it was an interesting dream. Where before the dream, I said, it's just how I am. I get this feeling about someone, and I thought, I'm going to adopt Heejin into our family. I think he needs a family. And so I asked my children, I said, hey, how would you guys feel like? So here you go as the mom, right, to your children. How would you feel like adopting Heejin? Told them a little bit about him, what I knew, into our family, just so that and and my children are like, yeah, that sounds great. Yes, mom, go right ahead. And this we yeah, I think a couple of them said, so how do you spell his name? I'm gonna write that down so I know that I have another brother in spirit world. And it's like, oh, okay. And I was really amazed over that on how my children reacted to, right? Kind of for most people, okay, that's a bit, mom, are you, come on now. This, none of my children did that. They were all, oh, yeah, yeah, absolutely. And being really genuine and sincere about it. So, what I did know though is that one doesn't just do that, and that I needed to ask uh, True Parents for permission. At that time, I believe that True Father had already passed away. And then I had, and so I'm going, okay, well, how do I do that? How do I ask? I said, True Father, obviously I'm not going to be able to reach True Mother in some way. And and so I asked True Father, I said, well, give me a sign that that is the right thing to do, that we can do this as the family here, not to take away a son from you, just, right? Yes, to care for him, specially as well, right? Yes, yeah, what they say. It's not just you, it's a village who raises a child. So I had this dream, and in the dream, True Father stood there with a tray. True Mother was right behind him, but True Father stood there with a tray in front of me, and on the tray was a garment, and there's a garment like a top, and the from earlier times in Korea. I think some people still wear them. They're just really amazing tops that guys would wear, and they're tied in some way, and and there was a box as well that True Mother presented in a way. And I never opened the box. It was almost as if the box didn't need to be opened, it just needed to be there, right? Yes, it was that odd. And True Father handed that tray to me, and I took the tray and, you know, said thank you, and in a way that felt like, oh, now I got the sign. Yes, I can do that. So shortly after that, we planted these trees and had a friend here from Switzerland who's in spirit world now too. And he had a nephew, and the nephew had some physical problems. There was some things going on there, and he was really worried about his nephew and his family as well. I said, you know what? Here we go. This is what we're doing. I said, we're going to dedicate the one tree to Heejanim, who's in spirit world, and the other tree right next to him, we're going to dedicate to this little boy, who's still in the physical world, right? Still growing up. As if, okay, we're not just, in a way, then Heejanim, in spirit, becomes a brother to this little boy as well here in the physical, to help him grow, to care for him. In spirit, kind of, as a guardian spirit. Okay. Yes, okay, so these trees have been, so the late frost that we have often here, and the early blooming these guys like to do here, it's difficult to get peaches. Every year we have little peaches on it, but they just don't quite ever make it. We did have one year a few peaches, and they were, oh my gosh, they were so delicious. They were just so good. You don't want to eat another peach if you can't have one of those. Anyway, so there's the little story about our peach trees, and maybe this year, who knows, right? It's one of those things, right? You just, though I look at it as, oh gosh, dear me, why I plant those two trees, right? But there's a story that goes with the trees in a way. And peach blossoms are, they're quite good to eat as well. Peach blossom tea, though of course I don't want to take them off. And then peach leaves also are actually really beneficial for your health and all that. So, and edible. Even though we don't have peaches, I said, okay, you know what? There may be something else that is really good about these trees, for us to consume. And sure enough, there is. So there you go. What does one complain about, even if you're not getting that you really want in the end? So, but anyway, so they're blooming again, and Heejanim's trees really, really blooming really well. Also, interestingly enough, that tree has always been a little bit bigger than the other one. Our peach trees. What a story to go with it. How has that been? Pretty amazing. Well, anyway. So, there it is. Shared that little story. Yeah, what one can all do, even if you're not a big shot out there, make millions and billions of dollars. Sometimes the little we do for each other means a lot. And, obviously, suddenly there is as I said, us taking in Heejanim in a way, spirit, and then it evolved into Heejanim suddenly, oh, I have a job now with, right? Yes? Okay. Not sure how. Okay, not going to go there. It takes too long to explain it all, or trying to. Again, I know how it all works. I see the whole picture, but to paint the picture into words and try to explain it all, it's too difficult. Not difficult, just trying to give it properly. But the one thing, one action, cause and effect, one action evolves into another good action. Good, always on the side of goodness. Yes, yeah. That's what I find so interesting in it all. Oh, also shows, yes, you're on the right path. So we're sitting outside. It's going to be another beautiful day. Cloudy, maybe rain, maybe not. Oh, gotta put my legs up. Okay, so here we go. We are in, let's see my pen. Leviticus 20. Penalties. Oh. Religious offenses. Yahweh spoke to Moses and said, say to the Israelites, anyone, be he Israelite or alien resident in Israel, who gives any of his children to Moloch will be put to death. Oh. Who's Moloch now? I'm not familiar with all the gods or this or that. Is that another name for Lucifer or something? I have no idea. Moloch. Gotta go and check that out. Gives any of his children to Moloch. Why would you do that? Will be put to death. The people of the country must stone him. Oh, Father, that was so brutal. And I shall set my face against that man and outlaw him from his people. For by giving a child of his to Moloch, he has defiled my sanctuary and profaned my holy name. You know, it reminds me of when Jesus said, anyone who hurts a little one should have a millstone around their neck and be thrown in the deepest part of the ocean. Again, is it a warning again? If you hurt one of my little, if you're just a child, the weakest in society, a child who can't defend itself against an adult, it's just not going to happen. Okay, what a crime that is. And the thing is, how are people capable of doing these atrocious things to children? And it's not just out there with people who are just, don't know quite what their mindset is, that they do certain things to children. It happens right in the family too. Right? Little things sometimes, where one just has to say, but I've always stepped in, either that or I gave my warning, right? Okay, look, you can do this way, or I'm going to do it my way, right? Okay, we're not going to get further into things like that, but it's one of those things where how can you even just stand there and then turn your head away or try to shovel things under the rug, right? A lot of families are doing that, yes, especially when it comes to sexual abuse of children by one of their own. Just saying. Okay, well, here you go. If the people of the country, I'm not saying that they have to be killed, but there should be proper punishment. Interestingly enough, here is the moving forward. Right? Even the courts are really lax when it comes to make the excuses, make the the disbelief. Yeah. Okay, not gonna go there. If the people of the country choose to lose their eyes to the oh, what did I just say? Oh, action when he gives a child of his to Moloch, and do not put him to death, I myself shall turn my face against that man and his clan. I shall outlaw them from their people, both him and all those after him who prostitute themselves by following Moloch. That may be that goes for every abortion that isn't necessary. Absolutely necessary. Well then, If anyone has recourse to the spirits of the dead or to magicians to prostitute himself by following them, I shall set my face against him and outlaw him from his people. Sanctify yourselves and be holy, for I am Yahweh your God. Yeah, I think these instructions are okay. I can't go against it. I mean, that's, that sounds good to me. Offenses against the family. You will keep my laws and put them into practice, for it is I, Yahweh, who make you holy. Hence, anyone who curses father or mother will be put to death. Now, with the top part I just talked about too, one could say, well, that surely was put in there by men too, right? Yet, look at the topic. Look at what it is actually about, right? Yes? And again, I find it interesting on how absoluteness is something that the people of the world right now, billions out there, are struggling with, right? To what? Man, just raise your children properly, for example. Don't hurt them. You know what I mean by don't hurt them, right? Yes? Don't abandon them, neglect them. Come on now. Due to the fact that people didn't follow this first part, even at that time, what do we got going in the world right now? Yeah, when it comes all over the world. Unbelievable to me. Unbelievable. But it is there. Okay, let's keep going. So, yeah, it made its way into the Bible, and, oh, well, that was then. It is still now. Okay. Oh, and here we go. Anyone who curses father or mother will be put to death. Having cursed father or mother, the blood will be on that person's own head. Ooh. Filial piety is not a joke, people. All right. Wow. I could talk about all this stuff here. Interestingly enough, again, when it comes to stuff like that, people who grow up and they've never known their parents because they were adopted or raised in an orphanage, or raised themselves on the streets or something, right, after they were abandoned by the parents. Not parents who passed away and that made them orphans or something. I'm talking, okay. Well, even then, you don't know your parents, you grow up. You end up, hopefully, in another good situation, family. Sometimes you don't, this, that. But these children, they'd give anything to know their parents. Right? Who were my parents? I'd like to know. Why did you not keep me? Or, I said, in a way, I found that every time. And I've met a lot of people who didn't have their original biological parents, right? It's every time the same thing. The desire is there, is just to know. Right? And here, many kids who grow up have their parents, have a good home, this, that. Repay their parents how? Yes? Oh, some of them even think that they can divorce their parents. No, the heck is that? That's the way you dumb. So, isn't that interesting? Yes? John in his snail hole has everything, in his snail house, has everything he needs. And wants. But what he has, he doesn't want. And what he wants, he doesn't have. Yet, he's got everything he needs. When it comes down to it. There you go. Yep. Just interesting observation. People do whatever they want out there. That's what they can do. All right. Ooh. The man who commits adultery with his neighbor's wife will be put to death. He and the woman. Whoa. The man who has intercourse with his father's wife. Ooh. I know of some people right now who then wouldn't be alive anymore. Bet they have a big mouth about everything. Okay, all right, Daniela. I'm going to share that in that group. The man who has intercourse with his father's wife has infringed his father's sexual prerogative. You kidding me? What? Both of them will be put to death. Their blood will be on their own hands. Man, I tell you what, God ain't taking no punches here. The man who has intercourse with his daughter-in-law, both of them will be put to death. They have violated nature. Their blood will be on their own hands. The man who has intercourse with a man in the same way as with a woman, they have done a hateful thing together. They will be put to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. Oh, heads, not hands. Heads. Yeah, well, again, it's like we're getting the instructions here. And I know all the excuses out there for it. And, the empathy and the sympathy one is supposed to have for all this, right? But, as I said, where does it go next? Yes? I think if there aren't clear lines in these things that are affecting people spiritually very greatly, right, then you'll have a runaway train, a runaway horse, and it won't stop until it heads off the cliff or derails, right? Yes? The escalation. Here, share the story of the escalation of a good thing, right? The evolving of a good thing with Hegenim and that other little boy, right? Yes? Right? With the peach tree story, and here we're getting the other side, the other, right? Okay. Well, there you go. But before we read this, to show a good balance beforehand, he knows what he's doing, even when it comes to me. The man who marries a woman and her mother, this is incest. They will be burnt alive, and he and they, you will not tolerate incest. The man who has intercourse with an animal will be put to death. You will kill the animal too. Oh my gosh. As I said, already at that time. I think it's very common. It's not common, I guess, still some places around the world where if the husband dies, the brother or the uncle or takes in, right, the wife and the children, and I guess it goes a step further where then they marry so as to what, not make it so weird that now the brother is in bed with his brother's wife. And while they're at it, right, okay, right, you know what? I mean, come on, sheesh. I said, this is already in here from thousands of years supposedly ago. This was already a problem. It would not have to be mentioned if it weren't already a problem, right? Yes? Okay, that's just interesting. Having sex with animals. Come on now, people. Really? As I said, and here's this one. The woman who approaches any animal to have intercourse with it, you will kill the woman and the animal. How is that even possible? I could see the guys doing it. Actually, while I was, I was a teenager, was the first time that I heard that guys actually do that with goats and stuff. Yes? Anyway. Man, I sat there. I remember so clearly when I heard about that in a restaurant in Switzerland, sitting there actually with my sister and a bunch of guys around, and they were talking about some things, and my sister leans over and said, okay, I'm not even, I mean, it was like, I just sat there and going, nah, no, people don't, no, no, okay, whatever, I'm not even, I can't. You want to, come on now, really, are people that, a woman, how does that work? Okay, they, they will be put to death, their blood will be on their own heads. Ugh. Ah, I'm starting to get really cold here. Huh? No doubt. It's, oh, what a just. I should be more concerned that they're all being put to death and say, Father, wait a minute. There has to be another way. I mean, no, it's better to take that stuff right out of circulation to begin with because it's going to infect the whole. This is all stuff that, okay, I get it. But still, and laws did change. Things did change. And we're in a royal mess when it comes to all that. I've no doubt these kind of things, that's a very intimate thing to do. Huh? Yes, yes, it is. And it spiritually affects people heavily. Uh, a lot of psychological problems out there now. Okay, all right, let's move on. Too much to talk about it when it comes to others. I mean, I could talk a book now. Or write a book of questions. Hello, people. How about it? Give us some answers here. How is this possible? Why did God even have to put this kind of stuff into place here? Offenses against the family. All right. Well, a lot of things we don't do anymore. Really? All right. The man who marries his father's or his mother's daughter, if they have intercourse together, this is an outrage. They will be executed in public. For the man has had intercourse with his sister. He will bear the consequences of his guilt. The man who has intercourse with a woman during her monthly periods and exposes her nakedness, he has laid bare the source of her blood, and she has exposed the source of her blood, and both of them will be outlawed from their people. Okay, so some of these are, again, how would you know they did that? how, how would you know? And how would anybody want to? Oh, ugh, okay. Ah, ah, I can't quite. I'm a very visual person, okay? So I'm glad it's not working quite right now because that's like, oh, not, you will not have intercourse with your mother's sister or your father's sister. That'd be your aunt. Whoever does so has had intercourse with a close relation. They will bear the consequences of their guilt. The man who has intercourse with the wife of his paternal uncle has infringed his uncle's sexual prerogative. They will bear the consequences of their guilt and die childless. Is that where that comes from? Wait. But we already had. There was already problems like this beforehand. Oh, they didn't die. Oh, something was restored. Oh, they didn't die childless though. Oh, that's an interesting one. I know you guys are probably thinking, why does she think that's interesting? There's always a spiritual aspect to everything. All right. And sadly, the descendants often carry that guilt. Yes? Why would you leave your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren behind with such horrific sins, right? And so, I guess, I don't know. Okay. I know, but, too much to explain. The man who marries his brother's wife. This is pollution. He has infringed his brother's sexual prerogative. They will die childless. Oh, that reminds me of something else. Interesting. We live in a really, really interesting time. We have a lot more information. There's a lot more generations and upon generations upon generations. And when I look here, this is offenses against the family. All the things we deal with in our own families. Why? So much to restore. Concluding exhortation. You will keep all my laws, all my decisions, and put them into practice, so that the country where I am taking you to live will not vomit you out. You will not follow the laws of the nations whom I am driving out before you. Huh. You know, that reminds me of something else. When people start to migrate at a time like this, they practiced all these things, which is why I detested them. As I have, as I have already told you, you will take possession of their soil. I myself shall give you possession of it, a country flowing with milk and honey. You know, I wonder too. Again, here I'm looking at this all from. Well, I'm here right now, and okay, that was then. It's almost as if God did reserve the right for Himself to say, as long as people are worshipping idols, this, that, then I can't take responsibility for them, right? I can only do that for the people who truly, yes, acknowledge me. Okay. So, only after, it seems like only after Jesus' life and Christianity made its way all around the world somehow. That's an amazing thing to me too, by the way. Suddenly, right? Everybody in one form or another started to become connected, right? At least to God. Right? Was the change of blood lineage had that already happened? No, but right? Spiritual life. And then suddenly, certain other things changed. Right? The even the Ten Commandments, in a way, though they all stand, right? They became more so substantiated for the people of God, right? Yes, yeah, oh, interesting. I'm telling you. That's why now it's just different. You can't just. We wouldn't be able to apply that anymore. A lot of what I just read because of that. I mean, the killing, the slaughtering, the putting to death, the stoning, the burning. They can outlaw them. Why not? Since I, Yahweh, your God, have set you apart from these people. Oh, there you go. What did I just say? You, for your part, will make a distinction between clean animals and unclean ones, and between unclean birds and clean ones, and will not make yourself detestable with any animal or bird or reptile which I have set apart from you as unclean. Be consecrated to me, for I, Yahweh, am holy, and I shall set you apart from all these people for you to be mine. Oh, there you go. Any man or woman of yours who is a necromancer or magician will be put to death. A necromancer. I know what that is. You gotta be kidding me. That's in here too? They will be stoned to death. Their blood will be on their own heads. A magician. Yeah. People like to, again, for their own agenda. If one wants to understand something properly, one does. Okay? Yeah? Okay, I know what a necromancer is, so it's like, oh, God. Okay, you gotta be kidding me. No. I mean, that's not even, and anybody, okay, done. The magician, right? Yes? Not so clear, right? Yes? Yeah, because whenever people feel like doing so, a prophet could be a magician as well. Just depends on, right? Oh, why do we have different words for them? Yeah, okay. I'll tell you what. Right? The easiest example to give here on how people like to just, for one reason or another, right, besmear someone or accuse someone is, the easiest example is when women especially were good at knowing herbs, collecting herbs, certain other things that helped people heal this snap. Right? That was considered what? Okay. And they were considered witches. Right? Yes? Oh, yeah, now but that was at the time when witches were burned at the stake for whatever. Right? You were a witch if you were a little too good looking as a woman. Right? Yes, might have done nothing, but here's a guy, has some ideas, and the woman actually said, no, was able to protect herself, and then the gossip starts. The woman lost every time. Right? Yes, because of who is unhappy. Anyway. Anywho, so there it is. So, I think that liars and lies are a great contributor to a lot of things that are wrong, going wrong, even now. Yes? Anywho, that's what I wanted to share this morning, especially about others. People lie about things in nature and animals. Same thing. Just lie. Lies. Liars. Pants on fires. Anywho. Okay. Well, how disheartening this all is. Already at that time. Had to be all in there. What do you think, Father? We're such intelligent beings. Possible of such grotesqueness. Anywho. There we are. Yep. Again. trying to understand God's heart and desire. And almost having these two sides where, but God's all loving. It's all heart to mind. Omnipotent, omniscient, unchanging. It's all set. And then there's no room for atrocities, grotesque stuff. Okay? Sadly, it involves people. Best thing is to just keep teaching, right? Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I'm not going to go out there and kill anybody. I'm not going to do that. I can be pretty rough with my tongue, though. All right. God's love and blessings always. And may He protect you. And I will talk to you another time.